Mullins.
And I'm Manisa Mullins.
And we are PWP, which stands for Pennies with a Purpose. And today, we're going to continue on with what we talked about last week, which is budgeting. And today, what we're going to discuss is
reasons why people don't budget.
So we're going to get started. Number one reason people don't budget is they simply don't know where to start. Basically, if you've never done a budget, I know when I started out, I had no clue. I didn't have any idea. I didn't know what to budget or what should be budgeted or how to even set a budget up. How was it for you, Manisa?
I thought it was all about, algebraic, trigonometry, calculus equations about finances. And so for that reason, I shied away from budgeting. I thought it was very numbers driven, which it is, but I was over analyzing what a budget is.
Yeah, that's kind of probably what most people do. They kind of overanalyze and just don't know where to start. What should I gather? What shouldn't I gather? How should I break it up? And how should I break it down? So that's one of the number one reasons we think people don't budget.
And the second reason, which I guess goes kind of hand in hand, is it's too overwhelming. That not only do you think about the numbers, you just start thinking about all kinds of things like, will this change my lifestyle? Will I have enough money? It just becomes a huge mountain that you're just not willing to climb. And you're just thinking about all the things that encompasses a budget, and it leads you to a point of just fear, where instead of trying to find information, or you just don't do anything at all. You just become so overwhelmed with the fear of it that you make no actions, no changes at all.
Yeah, and sometimes even sitting down, being overwhelmed, it's just all the things that are coming from all the angles and saying, what should I do? How shall I do it? I know that the struggle for me was just it's just so much, and just seeing things and how do I gather the information. And thankfully, since we've established PWP, that's something we definitely help people with. So we try to take that away from you. We are, one of the main things we do is focus is sitting down with couples or individuals and helping them set a budget up. So the third thing is it makes people feel restricted. You want to talk about that, Manisa? Because I remember last week you said you kind of get that question.
Yeah, a lot of times women will ask me, because they know that we live on the envelope system, which is there's certain parts of our budget that we keep in a physical envelope, such as gas, entertainment, personal, dry cleaning, those type of things. And so we have a set goal each 2 weeks for those items, and of course the goal is to make sure that you don't spend all the money out of that envelope, or only the money that is in that envelope is allocated for that particular thing. So for example, if you've already used your entertainment money, then you don't take your gas money to use in entertainment. And so a lot of times people will ask me, you don't feel restricted? You don't feel like your budgeting keeps you in a box? And I don't. I feel the exact opposite. I feel very empowered, very secure, and knowing where every single dollar is going to. Like, I ask women questions like, do you know how much you spend a week on gas? They don't. Do you know how much money you spend a week on groceries? And they don't. So by having the number, it actually structures your lifestyle so that you start making choices that fit within your budget, instead of living without of your budget and then wondering, well, how in the world did I spend $500 on groceries? So feeling restricted, again, comes from that fear that a budget means somehow you have to stop living a life that you enjoy. And I do say, you can enjoy your life, but you should enjoy a life that you can afford. Because you can pay for things. You can pay for the trip to Cancun, but can you afford it? So we are able to help you with those things so that you won't feel restricted, and change some of the feelings you have around money and what budgeting really is and what it really isn't.
Yeah, and on the other side of being restricted, there's also you're taking control. So from being restricted, look at it like we do the glass with the water. Is it half full or if it's half empty? Well, the half full part of it is that you're taking control, and now you're telling your money where to go. You're saying to yourself, I am going to save, and this is how much I'm going to save. I'm going to spend so much on grocery, and this is how much. So instead of saying, I'm restricted, say I'm in control.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. So next time someone asks me, do you feel restricted? I'm going to say, no, I feel very much in control.
Yeah.
And that's true. That's just not a cute phrase to say, but the numbers actually prove that you're in control because you know where every single penny is going.
All right. What's number 4, Manisa?
Number 4 is I don't want to know the truth. Like, I don't want to know how much debt I'm in. I don't want to know that number that I owe the student loan. You know, I don't want to know how much money it takes to become debt free. I'm too overwhelmed. We've actually had sessions with couples where we put their numbers up on the screen, meaning the television screen, for them to see, and there were tears because they felt, oh my gosh, that's where I am. But the tears were coming from a place of not understanding how to execute the plan to get from where they are at that point to where they want to be. So initially the fear set in, and you see that huge number and you think you have to tackle that number like tomorrow. But it's just, you know, like eating an elephant, just one bite at a time.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people don't want to know the truth, because when you know the truth, then that makes you say, okay, now that I know it, I can't live in ignorance anymore. So now I actually have to take the steps to get out of this place.
Yeah, and I think, Manisa, also to that, the other part of it is that you don't want to face what you thought.
Yeah.
You already had in your mind that, you know, hey, I'm not doing what I should do. And now it's like, you know what, we both been divorced. But it wasn't real until we got those papers.
Yeah.
So when you see it in front of you, it's real. And then, but at that point, you have a choice. You can make a decision. What will I do from this point on?
Right.
So the truth, as they say, will set you free.
Yes, it
So
will.
knowing that, you know, a lot of times you may feel like it's just you. So, no, it's not. So just face it,
Yes.
because the day is the first day of the rest of your life.
Right. And
Right.
80% of Americans live in debt, so you are not by yourself.
Right.
But you want to be in that 20% that are not living in debt. So that's the goal.
Yeah. So the next one we're going to talk about is pride and denial.
Yes.
What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I think that's a real powerful. I don't need a budget. I'm in control. Doesn't it sound just like an addict who says, you know, I can handle my liquor. I don't have a drinking problem. I don't have a drug problem. I can handle this. It's under control. And yes, you can be an addict to overspending.
Yeah.
You know, that clearance sale, you feel like you have to be there. Like, there's no way that I can let this sale not be in town and not take a part of it. Like, I'm going to miss out on something. So the pride and the denial that I don't have an issue with my money, I'm in control. That's other people. You know, all my bills are paid. You know, I got food in my refrigerator. You know, I can go on vacation. So what are you talking about? I don't need a budget. I got this. I'm in control.
Yeah. And in the cases where you're actually, for lack of a better word, broke, that denial, you know, it's everybody else but me.
Yes.
You know, a lot of times we think it's everybody else but us. Because, again, back to the truth, we don't want to face the truth. So we end up in denial. We don't open mail. We don't open bills.
That's
we just
good.
don't do things because we're in denial.
Right.
And the pride side of it is we don't want the world to see where we're at.
And you may even know that you're not in a good situation with your finances. And so you say, well, since I'm not in a good situation, what's the use of even fixing it? You know, I already have bad credit, so I might as well just go ahead and, you know, buy something else. Or, you know, you just see it as I'm already rolling downhill, so why not just roll faster?
Keep rolling.
Yeah, there's no way I can get back uphill. I've come too far, so I might as well just keep going until I reach the bottom.
Yeah.
So,
And you saying that, but you know, we talk about snowball budgeting. So you can snowball budget and get it right, or you can snowball and make it work.
that's right.
Right. So what are we going to talk about now?
The next reason is just good old-fashioned laziness.
Wow.
I know what to do. I've done it before. I just don't want to do it. I don't want a budget.
Yeah.
It just takes too much of my time. I don't think it's, you know, has a purpose or value. I just rather live the way I'm living. I just don't want to do it. I like sitting on the couch and watching binging series on Netflix and eating my potato chips. And I don't even want to get up and start writing things out, or not even get up now. I mean, you can do your budget on your phone, you know, but You don't even want to do that.
Yeah. I think sometimes people just kind of get settled with being settled. Just, I'm okay where I'm at. Life is good, at least for us. We don't have to face it, and I just don't have to move along.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be lazy and just keep it going and
Yes.
just go from day to day,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
Just nonchalant. So the next one we're going to talk about, which is another one you brought up last week, is avoiding conflict.
And this is for people who live, in have lived together, have a relationship, marriages, and you're just not on the same page. And every
Right.
time you try to get on the same page, there is a huge argument about finances. And because Willie and I are budget coaches, we do a lot of research on this topic. And did you know that most marriages that end in divorce is because of financial reasons?
Yeah, and it's because they just don't talk about it. They just talk about it. Maybe you have the husband that's overbearing, and the wife just feels like, what's the use in me saying
Yeah.
anything, because he's gonna do things his way. Or the wife that's just not secure enough. And whenever she brings it up, and the husband, kind of goes off on her, and so she never brings it up. So now you've got just two people together living a life together.
Right.
And I struggle to understand that you got married, saying you want to be one, gave your vows, but you don't want to be one when it comes to finances.
Yes, and a lot of people will probably, throw tomatoes at me for saying this, but if you're married and you're saying things like, this is my money and your money, I personally have an issue with that. We say this all the time. Unless there has been a situation where one spouse has proven to be untrustworthy
Right.
with money, and you're working your way back towards the trust, so you have to keep your finances separate, I'm making the exception for that. But what I'm talking about is you're getting married and becoming one, and there are secret bank accounts, whether it's the wife or the husband. You live together, you pay bills, but nobody knows how much each other makes on their check.
Right.
Or my money goes into my account and your money goes into your account, and I'm paying A through D, and then you're going to pay E through H, but no one knows how that's getting paid.
Right.
For me, it's not even an issue about money. It's an issue about trust.
Yeah.
And you don't trust me to put my money in your account, or us to join our money together, because you don't believe that one of the other person is going to manage it responsibly. Now, again, in order to know that, you've got to trust the person in order to take that step. And if there has been, for lack of a better word, betrayal with the finances, then of course, yes, you have to do something differently until you gain that trust.
I was reading real quick. I was reading last week, and that number of couples or spouses that don't know what each spouse makes is a very high percentage. I don't remember the exact number, but it is a very high percentage.
And if you can not disclose information about finances, just think about all the other things that you can also choose not to disclose. And then it becomes a marriage of secrets. So for me, it's almost like a spiritual thing, that if you open a portal where distrust can come in the finances, then you just open a floodgate of many other portals, so that all kinds of secrets can be kept. That's just me personally.
Right.
Like, I have access to, my husband has a business account, and so do I. And we have access to each other's business account. When my husband pulls up our joint account on screen, he can also see my business account as well. So, and I don't have a problem with that, because I thank God I have not had a reason in our marriage to distrust my husband in any way when it comes to our finances. And I mean, he'd have to speak on his own.
She handles the money, so I can ask 6 months down the road, and hey, did we ever spend that money on whatever? And oh no, I have it right here. So we're good on that. So what's the last item for this week, Manisa?
I think this for me is probably a very interesting one, and this is the one that says, I have money, extra money every month left over, so I don't need to budget. And you have to understand, budgeting is not about limiting. It's about taking account to where every penny is going. So if you make $20,000 a month and your monthly expenses are only $15,000, then you need to know where the extra $5,000 is going.
Right.
You need to name it. You need to put a purpose on it and send it somewhere, not just allow it to flow out of your life. So if you have $15,000 left, every single penny of those $15 should have a name on it.
And a purpose.
And a purpose.
And that's one of the most dangerous things, because those are the situations, like Melissa said, you feel like you don't need the budget. You feel like if life is okay. And it goes back to what we actually started out with last week. You budgeting with the purpose. Even though you have the extra money, what's the next step in your life? Where are you trying to go? So what are you going to do with that money?
I'll give you an
Go ahead.
example. We did not do our dry cleaning last month, and we allot $50 to dry cleaning. And so we had an extra. So when it was time to replenish the dry cleaning envelope for this month, we had $50 for this month and $50 for last month. So when I was putting the money in the envelope, I said to my husband, we have an extra $50 left from dry cleaning. And the first question was what?
Where are we going to put it?
Where are we going to put it?
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, yippee, $50 extra. We are going out and spending it. The first question was, okay, where will it go?
Right.
What name are we going to give to it? What purpose is it going to have?
Yeah. And as we stated last week, it went into the fund for the house.
Yes. So we exactly. You know that we're building a house, and so we're saving extra money because that's going to come with a lot of expenses. It has to be furnished, and along the way, you know, the construction, the people who are doing the construction may ask for certain things to be done, and so we need to have that money available for that.
Yeah.
So
Folks, thanks for tuning in again. We're at the end. Those are just some of the things that we came up. There is a lot more, I'm sure. But
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
Just leave comments below on where you see yourself fitting in on these 8 reasons why people don't budget. You know, this is a safe place to share. It's a non-judgment zone. At one point in our lives, you know, we were all there. You know, mine definitely was pride and denial. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to feel incompetent. I didn't want to feel like I wasn't good enough because I didn't have enough money. So I didn't even want to have the conversation. But the longer my head stayed stuck in the sand, my life kept going on. So I had to pull my head out and take a look around and see what was happening in my life so I could take control over it. So, and if you feel you don't feel like sharing on this post, then please inbox us at pennieswithapurpose@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your comments.
Yep. And if you didn't get that, it's at the end of the video. So we want to thank you again so much. It's good to be back with you guys. And as always, when we leave, I'm Willie Mullins.
I'm Manisa Mullins.
And if you don't tell your money where to go,
You will wonder where it went.
thank you guys. You have a great day.
Bye-bye.